weekend was terminated because the property had a lot of asbestos in it, and my client knew that was going to be an expensive process and didn't want to take the time to do the abatement, or didn't want to deal with the plumbing issues because there's sewer backup in the back in the side of the yard. So we terminated that on Wednesday, and her backup property was still available because the agent kept saying, "Hey, where's my offer? Hey, where's my offer?" And so we submitted an offer, and she won it Christmas Day.
Great job.
So she's under contract for a house, a duplex actually. Going to be an investment.
Whoever was the person that said real estate doesn't happen over the holidays, I'm not sure what they're doing, what they did over the holidays, right?
I listened to you. You said it's not going to be slow. Keep at it. So,
you know, I'll be the first person to tell you to take some time away and, you know, go have a great life, but you don't need to take off in the middle of, you know, November. Like, there is work being done. There are closings happening every single day, and there's absolutely no reason why they can't be yours.
Yes.
Cool.
So that was exciting.
What's your favorite part of vacation so far? Go ahead.
You talking to me?
I am.
Oh, you know, I have 5 grand.
Oh boy. Internet doesn't work very good down there. Okay. We'll come back to that. Anyone else want to share? All right. Okay. So what? Terrible connection. Terrible. Maybe turn off your video so we can, maybe that'll help. Okay. I'd like today to be fairly interactive, if you guys are okay with this. I'm going to set up a little bit of a kind of 2 different theories, if you will. And then what I'd really like to do is encourage you to think, well, actually, I'll come back to that. Okay, theory 1 is one way of building your business. Okay, one way of building your business is to basically get up every day, work as hard as you can, try not to spend a whole lot of money, and hope that enough leads fall into your lap so that you can make an impact on some families and make some income and have some of the things you like in life. Okay, and that the struggle, or I'm sorry, let's do some pros and cons. Okay, the pro is you don't really have to be accountable to anyone. You can work whenever you feel like working. You don't have to track. You don't have to do anything for that matter. You don't have to practice. You don't have to, you know, work on your presentations. You don't have to learn the market. It's just whatever happens, happens, right? And the typical result of that is you don't earn enough money to have a life by design. And several things will generally happen. Either you get behind on your estimated taxes, or you find yourself saying no to things that you really want to do because of money rather than because of anything else, right? So you might say, well, I can't go to Bold because I can't afford it. We should never have to say that to ourselves, right? I can't go to family reunion because I can't afford it. Or I got to drop out of real estate because I don't have the $400 for the board dues and these kind of things, right? That's what happens when we don't take a huge amount of intentionality. Okay, it's all left up to chance. Well, I decided a long time ago I wasn't going to let my career be left up to chance. And so I was going to take route number 2, which was I'm going to get really, really, really clear about what I want and why I want it. And I don't need to be bashful to anyone. I don't need to I don't need to be made to feel bad because I want to have things, right? Or I want to, you know, write big checks to things or people or organizations, or send my kid to private school, or go on vacations that a lot of people don't get to go on, right? I don't need to feel bad because I'm living a big life. And so what I decided to do is I went back to the moment that I decided to be a real estate agent in the first place. And I said, no offense to anyone here, but I didn't get into the business to make 30 or 40 grand. Like if that was going to be my income, I was just, this is a stressful job to make that kind of money. If that's what you want, man, there's a lot of ways to make it that don't involve this amount of stress, right? Terry, did you want to share something?
No, I was gonna say that's around what I make here, so I could just stay here.
Yeah, and again, this is not no judgment here, but for me, I wanted more control. Well, the only way I was going to take more control was to control the lead flow, to control my daily activities, to control what I was learning, how I was reacting to things, and who I got a chance to work with, and how well I studied the market and all these kind of things. And I identified a handful of things that I wanted, and I determined how many sales I needed to have to get there. We'll go through all this stuff in here in just a second. But then I just ran the play and I worked the plan, and I always knew whether I was on track or off track. And what do you know, at the end of the year, I had what I wanted, right? Because I didn't leave it to chance, right? And so I didn't have to worry about going into debt or not being able to afford a particular opportunity or something like that. I know everyone's in a different place in their world, but it's never too late to get clear on what it is you want and to start making some intentional decisions on how to start making that stuff happen. Is that fair to say? Okay, so I'd like to ask for everyone's vulnerability today. Okay, and I'd like for you to tell me, when you got your real estate license, what was it that you wanted? What does a life by design even mean to you? Who wants to share?
All right, so I'll jump in.
Thank you.
I got my license back in '91, and the only reason I got it is because I wanted to understand how to buy the house that I was looking for. And my teacher in the class said, well, if you've passed the class, you might as well go ahead and take the test. So initially, I had no idea about being a salesperson, or to sell real estate, for that matter. Learning about life by design, I've learned more in dealing and being coached by you in the last 4 months than I've learned the last 20 years. Just being very vulnerable and transparent. So I've got a lot of work to do, and you're helping me with that.
Wow, I just kind of got goosebumps a little bit. I appreciate you sharing that. That right there is why we do what we do. Myself and Candace and others, that's why we do what we do. So can I push you a tiny bit on that, Lorinda? Like, now that you kind of see this business a bit differently, and maybe I'm putting some ideas into your head, but now that you see this business a little differently and you see how much potential it has, what is driving you to treat your business differently now? Or like what kind of impact are you hoping to make for yourself or your family or for others? What's driving you now?
I can do this. I can be successful and make a living as a realtor. I see it now. Before I was like, maybe not. We're still looking for all the other side hustles.
Yeah.
But now it's clearer. The forest is not so deep, not so thick, I should say.
Okay, good.
So
do you have like one thing in your mind now about, like, maybe it feels like a bit of a luxury to you, or maybe you're like almost nervous to say it out loud, but like, what are you like really excited about earning or achieving and having or buying or whatever it is, or giving? What's one of the things that really excites you going into the new year now?
going into the new year, I'm excited about. Okay, so I want a 2-bedroom bungalow.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Getting
Where's
me
it
a
gonna be?
house. I want it in the country. I want a couple of acres of land and just drop a house on top of it, or build a house on top of
Okay,
it. So striving to, I guess if I had to put steps, striving to find the land and then build.
okay. And I think that that's great. Now we don't necessarily have to do this exercise in front of everyone, but what I'd love to do is go figure out how big it's going to be, where it's going to be, what it's going to cost, what it's going to look like, what color is it going to be, what's the driveway going to look like, is it going to be a 2-bedroom, or did you just say 2-bedroom because maybe you didn't think that a 3-bedroom was possible?
Well, no, okay, so the bigger vision, because I've already picked out the floor plan. I want a container home that has 4 bedrooms. And one container is 2 bedrooms, and the other container is 2 bedrooms, and in the middle container, because it's six 40-footers, and in the middle container is all of the common areas. So the kitchen's there, living room, dining room. There's a patio off the back of
Now we're talking. I don't
one
know
of the
what half that
containers that
stuff is,
opens
but
up
it
into
sounds cool. I love that. Okay.
Now that you mentioned it, you're right.
So that's what
It is great.
that's what I was hoping somebody would say today, is let's get super detailed about what it is we want. There's no shame in that, y'all. Like it's so interesting. Sometimes we have this, like, we live in a very consumer, materialistic society. Yet a lot of times we're afraid to have any of that stuff ourselves, even though we might earn the money to get it. Right?
Right.
I heard Dave Ramsey say one time. He said, money is just a certificate of appreciation. If I have a lot of money, or if somebody else has a lot of money, they only got it because they have taken care of others, right? And they've gotten certificates of appreciation for that. Candace, you're reaching for the mute button.
Is this better?
It's much better.
Oh my, yeah.
I'm on my phone instead of my computer. So,
Okay.
yeah, no, I was just going to say, I love that. I love that it's just a certificate of appreciation. That's the change. That's a mindset shift.
That's right. That's right. And let me tell you something, you can do whatever you want with your money, right? Sometimes some of us are afraid of failure, and some of us are afraid of success too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Well, I was taught a long time ago, I think this is a Dr. Seuss quote. It says, those that matter don't mind, and those that mind don't matter. You ever heard that? If somebody's going to give you a hard time for helping a handful of extra families sell a home so you can get something that is important to you, that's your business, not anyone else's business. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Does anyone else have any thoughts on what are they really excited about when you this follows the concept of what we call profit first. Okay, so we don't just wait to see if there's any profit that trickles down after we make our expenditures a whole year long, and then if there's a little profit, we go do something with it. This is the exact opposite approach. So we say our business must do this or earn this amount of money so that all of our business expenses, cost of sale, personal expenses, and profit first can get taken care of. And we're not going to leave it to chance. So, and a couple of examples might be things like, I want to put money aside for an investment. Maybe it's real estate, stocks, another business, whatever it may be. Some business reserves, like capitalize all your accounts, like your business accounts, your personal accounts, your emergency funds, life insurance, get out of debt, like these kind of things. Buy a car, go on vacation, make a donation to charity, right? What are some of the things that get you going, that get you that kind of have that emotional draw to it? Donna, you want to share?
I'll share.
I'm
Okay,
here.
good.
Sorry.
Oh, good. Go, you go, Donna.
I'm sorry, Bill, could you just repeat that, please?
Yeah, we're we're basically talking about what do we want to do with the profit, and why is that important to us, and why is that going to be able to help us drive our business, right? Because
Right.
I want to take a very intentional attitude towards creating a life by design. You're not going to get a life by design that drops into your lap. That's a life by default, just flat out by definition, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what many of us, I'm not saying life is good or bad for anyone here, but that's primarily what you see out there, is a bunch of people that are just kind of getting whatever they get. And the beautiful thing about a real estate business is that you get to take a very intentional approach to how you want to spend your time, who you want to spend it with, how the money is going to flow in and out of your world. And you get to benefit as many families as you choose to. So can you speak for a moment on some of the things that are on your Life by Design page? You know, why do you get up and put up with what you put up with? I hate saying it that way, but let's be honest, real estate's stressful, right?
Yeah.
So why do you put up with that? There must be something great at the end of it, right?
Right. So for me, it's like a lot of people, it's that personal, just freedom to live a life by design, as you say, to work towards that. As you know, my big why is grandchildren. I want to help my daughter start a family through IVF. So that's what pushes me through every day, sometimes doing things that are uncomfortable. I've shared with you that I don't really like calling people, even people in my sphere. I'm just not a telephone person. But having that big why, you know, I've helped my other daughter with IVF, and we have 2 beautiful grandchildren through that. And I want to help my second daughter. And that's my big why. And that's what that's at the forefront. That's on my vision board. It's right in front of me every day. And that's what pushes me to just keep going every day. And I've been working at it for 2 years, and I have this vision of what my life is going to be. And I'm working towards that.
And can you think of a time prior to you having that clarity that you struggled with motivation, discipline, focus, these kind of things?
Yeah, of course. I'm sorry, I have a bit of a cold, so I apologize. Yeah, there was a time when it was, and I still experience that from time to time, where I get a little discouraged, but you know, I have a little setback, but I get over it. I get myself over it, and I take it as a learning experience, and I move on to the next day. I start each day fresh. I've shared that with you and Candace, that I meditate in the morning to clear my mind, to start with a clean slate every day. I value each and every experience, whether it's good or bad, as a learning experience. I think every experience has value, and I think that's kept me going over the past 2 years, because I do have those days where I get a little discouraged. But you know, I try to set goals to achieve small wins along the way on my path to reaching my bigger goals.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you. And
Welcome.
you, I assume that you feel like you have a whole lot more control over the results based on your consistent activity, right?
Absolutely.
Your
And
business is a lot less left to chance now.
no, and I agree. You have to have a plan, you have to have a schedule, you have to live by your schedule. And, you know, each and every day I try to get even better at that. Because if you have a plan, then you're maximizing your time, and you're achieving your goals that are going to help you to get the big results in the end. You're not wasting time on just doing stuff that's not ending in any kind of big result.
Thank you. Candace.
No, I don't have anything to add to that.
Can I ask you a pointed question?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna share this. This may come off as a limiting belief of my own, but last week when I asked you what the topics for this week should be, you said a life by design simplified. So when I hear that, I hear you need to simplify it, right? So you think about it or talk about it in this kind of way that is not simple. And I believe I'm putting a lot of words into your mouth, so come back at me now, right? I believe that this would be more effective if it was simplified. What did you mean by that?
Well, I was thinking about, because I've got a lot of D and you've got a lot of C. And I was thinking that for the Ds, you know, the idea of spending a lot of time, the idea of going down into that kind of depth, I have to do that in stages as my patience allowed. So I was thinking more like bullet points for the D people. I wasn't thinking that it's too complicated. I was thinking that there needs to be a version for the personality types that are like, oh gosh, I have to get that done. And so that's what I was meaning.
Okay. I don't take offense to it, by the way.
Good,
This
good,
is
because I didn't mean any by it, because I love the way you teach it. But it's a 2 hour class. It's a 2 hour class, and it could be an 8 hour class. So really,
yeah. All right, hang on. I'm going to show you guys.
did you simplify it?
Well, not really, but I can simplify it really fast for you. I think. Let me try. Okay. So can you guys see my screen now? Do you see the 7 circles?
Mhm.
Okay, so here's how I'd like to simplify it. One of the things that we do when we're doing our 411 is we usually use 4 categories: job, business, financial, and personal.
Well, I
So-
don't see anything. I see a black screen on your
Oh.
desktop.
Oh, I thought you said you could see it.
We
For
could
a sec-
see your files.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We could see your files, and one of them had the circles. And then when you clicked on it, I see now we can see all of the folders.
Yeah, okay. But you can't see it now, right?
Can see it now. Yes, we can.
Okay, cool. This is good. So this is a picture from the One Thing book. And it says, what's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? And then it lists what many might say are the 7 most important circles or parts of somebody's life. Okay, so let me just quickly go around: spiritual life, physical health, personal life, my key relationships, my job, my business, and my finances. So let's clear up one thing real fast, which is, what is the difference between job and business? Is anyone curious about that?
Job is like it's not like the tasks, the daily tasks that need to be done, and business is more of like your business plan and adding leverage and how can you be more successful in business.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. So here's kind of a visual way to think about that, which is so remember, you guys have heard me say this before. Okay, you got like 3 basic divisions of real estate: lead generation, operations, sales. Very oversimplified. This is everything that happens prior to the contract. This happens everything that happens after the contract. And this is the people who actually visit with the buyers and sellers. You all understand that? So this is lead gen, lead follow-up, systems, etc. Operations is the sign installer, the bookkeeper, the listings manager, the person who puts it in the system, all the appointment scheduling, all the follow-up, all the negotiation, all these kind of things. And these are actually the buyers and the agent who works with the buyers and sellers. Well, Lorinda, these are all your jobs, are they not? So you spend pretty much all day
Yes.
in the business, rotating from this hat to this hat to this hat to this hat, back and forth and back and forth. This is being in the business. This is what I would call your job. Okay. This is the other job you have, which is the CEO, where you look down. I don't like that word, but you supervise, if you will, the worker, right? So every once in a while, you have to leave the worker zone and come up to the owner zone. And that's where you start thinking strategically about how to take your business to the next level. Do all of these people have the right resources? Are they reading the right books? Are they tracking their numbers? Are they on track, right? Are they behaving appropriately? Are they studying the market appropriately? See what I'm saying?
Yes.
This is working on the business. This is working in the business. Does that make sense? Don't live your whole life down here, guys. Every once in a while, at least once a week is what I suggest. You come up here and you look at the results of all these activities, the stuff we track, and say, hey, my worker talked to 11 people about real estate this week. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to eat dinner again if they don't start talking to more people. 11 people a week ain't going to put food on the table. So what new habit does my worker need to adopt so that I can get fed? Does that make sense? Am I being direct? Okay, good. Okay. Now, here's a very simple way to think through your life by design. Okay, let's ask these questions. What is the one thing that you should do that for your finances, let's say, that would make everything else easier or unnecessary? That is step one towards having a life by design, is it not? Okay, so this is a bit of a different, we're kind of merging two ideas here, but I think this works really nicely. Okay, what is the one thing that I need to do for my physical health so that I can have a better quality of life, or I can live a life by design? Maybe a life by design means that I have more energy or more stamina, or, you know, I don't hurt when I move around and stuff. Okay, well, maybe exercise needs to become a part of your world, right? So what do we need to do to make sure that that happens? Do we need to go join a club? Do we need to buy some new clothes? Do we need to, you know, identify when it's going to happen, right? What is the life by design that we're trying to build here, right? What's the one thing I need to do for my key relationships? Maybe one of the things I need to do is become a better listener. Okay. So you can Google, how do I become a better listener? And then you're probably going to find a book on how to do it. So maybe your job for January is to read the book, right? And tell me or Candace or your accountability partner or whoever, hey, this is what I learned. Do you have any suggestions on how to incorporate this into my daily life? You see what I'm saying? What's the one thing for my spiritual life? I'm not saying you need a spiritual life, but a lot of people probably would benefit from that. Right? Candace, what do you think about merging these ideas?
I love this. I absolutely love this because I think it just ties everything into. So here's what I think. A lot of people, and I'm not saying anybody in this group, but I'm saying a lot of people come from a world where they were told today your job is, or your job description is, and so they know exactly what they need to do, and they go to work for somebody. And when it's about you and your desires, I think a lot of people, first of all, have to decide that they deserve it, that they deserve abundance, or I'm going to say we all deserve abundance. and then to figure out the structure of how to simplify all the complexity of that is right here. And I love this, Bill. Thank you. You did what I asked. I mean, you did what I was hoping. I didn't know it was going to look like this, but it's great.
So let's take a let's go a little further here. Let's take finances for a second. Because when I think of a life by design, the thing I think of is, okay, well, I'm going to come up with a bunch of cool stuff, but I got to pay for it. So how's it going to get paid for? Right. And so I might say, well, I want to, get a cabin up in the mountains, or I want a new car, or I want to buy, make a donation to my kids' school for something, or I want to find a family who can't afford it and pay for it for them. Right. I mean, money is good when you do good things with it, and it's bad when you do bad things with it. Right. I mean, many of us were in that room during Bold where people were talking about, gosh, if I was given, $500 extra a month, I would pay for somebody's medication that they couldn't afford it. See what I'm saying? I mean, I sent my my assistant a couple $100 for a Christmas bonus, and like she's in tears. Like, this is a gigantic deal. That feels really good. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so when you come up with all the things you want, and this might be a good guide for you, right? I want to be able to pay for, dues at a church, or I want to be able to pay for a fitness coach, or I want, to have 2 nights a week where I can go have a meaningful get together with a friend or a relative or something like that, and have, coffee or cocktail or something like that. I need the space to do it, and I need the money to be able to afford to do it, right? So if you jot down all the things that are meaningful to you, and whenever you think it, just write it down. At least half the time that I ask somebody how much money they want to make, the first thing that pops, the very first thing they do is they kind of grunt a little bit. They're like, right? And what they're telling me is they have one number in mind, but they really want to say a smaller number because they're going back to somebody in their past that told them they didn't deserve it, or that seems like a lot of money, or I don't know what I would do with it all, or any of that crap. You see what I'm saying? So just say the number you want. If it's 100, write it down. If it's 400, write it down. And we got people making $400,000 here, right? You're just gonna have a different daily activity. It can get done. I can help you get there. Candace can help you get there. It's no big deal, right? So write all the things down that you desire, and then let's go do some research. So Lorinda wants a bunch of houses or whatever. I kind of lost track of everything there, and it's going to cost money, right? So how much is it going to cost? How much is it per acre? How much is it per container? How are you going to furnish everything? How am I going to get there? All these kind of things, right? So she says, oh, well, it's going to cost $325,000, and I believe that I can have this paid for in cash in 5 years. Okay, cool. So we just got to sell an extra 6 or 7 houses this year to pay for it. No big deal. So just put it in the plan, right? So we identify what it is we want, right? And this will help you do some soul searching. Then you write it down. Then you go through the trouble. I know this is trouble. It's work. Everything is work, right? Figure out how much it's going to cost. You want to go to Italy for 2 weeks? Okay. Where are you going to stay? How much is the food? How are you going to get there? Plan it out. Right? I spoke with somebody the other day who, she had never put together the fact that her dream vacation was equivalent to not even one sale, which is the equivalent of an extra appointment a quarter or something like that. It's not that hard, right? But it's the difference between winging it and getting intentional about it. Does that make sense? Now I mean, people are going through all kinds of stresses in their lives. I'm not trying to minimize that whatsoever. I heard, I've been listening to High Performance Habits, which is so good. It is easily the best book I've listened to in a few years, easily. And they were talking about the difference of feelings, or let me say it the other way, the difference between emotions and feelings, right? Emotions is something like kind of what Lorinda said earlier. She comes out and says, oh my gosh, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be looking at my business this way, et cetera, et cetera. That's like, that causes like a biological reaction in my body, right? That is emotions. How I feel about it is different. I could attach any feeling I want through the power of my brain to that reaction, right? Like if I was getting nervous before this course, this morning huddle, that might be a biological reaction, but the way I feel about it, I can name what that feels like. I could say, oh, that must mean I'm ready. That must mean I'm excited. See what I'm saying? So let's talk about our emotions and our feelings and really just get it all out there. And then I know this sounds really super simple, but let's figure out how much it costs and let's go sell some houses. Right? And don't let anyone tell you it can't happen. Now, if you guys work really great with daily instructions, I'll give you some daily instructions right now. Okay? Go talk to 20 people a day, add 3 of them to your database, find 1 person every single day that wants to buy or sell within the next year, write handwritten notes to everyone you speak to, and spend 15 or 20 minutes a day studying the market. And you will absolutely annihilate this business. You can have anything you want. Candace, do you think I am crazy?
No, I know you're not crazy. I was thinking about, we were talking about some renovations that Ron and I did to our house that cost about, I don't know, $50,000. And it was the result of a couple of months of real estate. Because if you have 4 or 5 closings a month, it's incredible income. And the other thing I would say is, when Bill says it's so simple, just go to talk to 20 people a day. I think we all know how to do that. We just want to put up obstacles in front of it and say, well, how? Well, you know what? You can talk to people in the grocery store. You can call your sphere. We have all those prospecting ways to talk to people. And the big thing is just to get yourself out of the way and just do it, right? Because once the results start coming in, you'll be like, I'm going to call 20 people today. I can't wait because you can't wait. So the biggest thing is just getting out of your own way and just don't get stuck up on the how, just go do it.
Yeah, like I know this sounds ridiculous, and I've said it a few times, is like, I kind of view when I'm looking around, I don't do this so much anymore, but I definitely used to do it much more. I'd look around and everyone I'd see, I would say to myself, if I don't talk to this guy, there's a really good chance he's going to make a bad real estate decision today. So I'm just gonna reach out. I'm just gonna say hi and see if there's anything I can do to help him, because he looks like he's about to make a really bad real estate decision. And I can't let that happen to anyone that is in my community. You see what I'm saying? Okay, for everyone that's been incredibly silent today, what are you hearing? Was today interesting? Is this hokey pokey for you? What do you think?
I think it's been really just kind of a situation where it's just reinforcing what I already know I have to do.
Yeah, you get to do it. That's a different way to look at it too.
Yeah, I love the Tony Robbins statement. What if life is not happening to you, but for you? Every time I think something bad is happening, I think, what if this is for me? And it shifts your perspective like crazy. And you go, oh, maybe I'm supposed to learn something, or, maybe it's a gut check of a direction I was going in that I'm not supposed to be going in.
Yeah, maybe that person that you're seeing in the grocery store is put there exactly for you.
Yeah.
To talk
Did
to,
you
because
guys
they're
hear
about to
me?
make a bad real estate choice. What's that?
Oh, I didn't know if you guys could hear me or not because it was like in the middle of me talking, the microphone, it says it was muted. I was kind of confused.
Oh, say it again. What were you saying?
I was just saying that what you were saying reinforces what I know I have to do with me putting in all the database and everything, trying to get prepared for this upcoming year to be done properly. And it seemed like an overwhelming task for me at first, but once I started doing it, it was just like, okay, you can do it. I didn't hit the goals that, I set, already for these last couple of days because I'm pretty sure I have COVID again. But I'm still working on it, but I've been having a lot of trouble staying awake, the fatigue of it all. But yeah, no, thank you a lot for telling us this because it's gonna change our year for 2022. I know it.
Thank you. I stay safe out there. Oh, but I appreciate you sharing that. That's, they say you're not going to eat an elephant in one day, but you could eat like a finger or so of the elephant. Like, just figure
Elephants
out like what can you do today that is the most important thing to move one of these things forward. And how many of these things, how many days in a row do I have to do it? Or, how many homes do I have to go show in order to have the life I want? Right. Candace, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, feel so much better, and what commitment to be on the huddle when I know, because I've had it, all you want to do is be in bed with the covers on and sleeping. So I applaud your commitment and just sending you all kinds of prayers for getting well.
Yeah. I'm going to show you this chart really, really fast. This is kind of the C version of the life by design. Okay. Which is you take your income, you take all the things that you want to spend your profit on. This is not personal expenses, not business expenses. This is above and beyond it. Okay. And this sheet is on the systems tab that each of you should have. Okay. If you don't have it, send me a message. I'll get it to you. Okay. And we go through line by line. And what we're doing is we're trying to identify how many sales do we need to have in order to pay for that stuff. Then we go in and we do our personal expenses, right? And this gives you some prompts: house payment, utilities, insurance, entertainment, reserves, miscellaneous, food, these kind of things. Same thing with your cost of sale. Cost of sale for real estate are all the expenses that you incur because there's a sale. So for example, productivity coaching fee is a cost of sale. There's no fee until you have a sale. That's different than the business expenses, which would be something like, buying a laptop or, going and buying a sign. That's not connected. That's you've paid for that. It's got nothing to do with whether there's a sale. That's separate. Okay. So you add up all that stuff, and I've created some, or I've listed here the suggested best practice percentages based on MREA2. And to help you understand, if you are going to sell a certain number of homes, how much money are you going to have left over at the end of the day? And is this enough to do what you want to do in life? Right? And what I've found, if I haven't already ruffled some feathers, I'll probably do it by saying this. Almost every business that you could do, it's essentially the same. Right? You got to find the customer. You got to sell yourself. You got to monitor the entire process with systems, tools, technology, people. And then you got to have some kind of ongoing communication with them before and after the sale. Right? That's what we do. You want to go be a lender? It's the same job. We just get paid more. Right? You want to be a dog breeder? Same job. You would just get paid more. You see what I'm saying? So like, remember that if any time that you're going to go do some kind of side hustle, you're essentially lead generating for your side hustle. And instead, if you were to lead generate for your main hustle, you'd have more sales.
Mm-hmm.
Did that one hit home, Lorinda? I saw that smirk. Hey, we're in a safe space here, right? We're all learning together. Does that make sense? All right.
Absolutely.
Kathy, what's your one thing for today?
my one thing for today.
What is the most important thing? I'll ask everyone, so prepare yourself. What is the most important thing that needs to get done today? Can be business or non-business, doesn't make a difference, that you are going to vocally tell yourself and the world today, and then as soon as this call's over, you're going to get going on it.
Well, I have recommitted myself to actually getting on the phone and making 20 calls and actually following through and not getting so scared, or not scared, but you know, I don't know what
Those people need to hear from you today. You can help somebody today.
Yeah.
You can't help them if you don't call them though.
Well, honestly, you know, a lot has happened over the holiday weekend, and it it reaffirmed that I can do this because my deal damn near fell apart.
Right. Well,
And it's, yeah,
remember,
so
lead gen has nothing to do with your current deals.
absolutely. I
We
know.
lead gen no matter what is going on, then we have time for our current deals. Okay.
Yes.
You got 2 jobs. Okay. Candace, what's your one thing for today?
Coaching some awesome agents.
That is my one thing today as well. And I'm doing a little bit of work on a kind of a big spreadsheet that I'm putting together for a profit share project. Donna, what is your one thing for today?
20 conversations, definitely.
Okay. Teria, what's your one thing for today?
My one thing for today is working on my systems.
Okay, beautiful. So we have a systems document, which is the beginning of what I was showing you. Just look, and there is one for you. You have that. So you should be able to go tab by tab and get some hints and some clues on how to start organizing some of that stuff. But I would say to yourself, today I'm going to nail the buyer system, because systems, we got 100 systems. So pick one and go clobber it today. And then when you earn the right to go to a second system, then you can do that. Okay, Kira, what's your one thing for today?
Just going to be database input.
Okay, beautiful. And Lorinda.
My 20 calls and then learn a system or practice a system.
Okay. And Lori, by the way, is our newest productivity coaching client. So thank you for your commitment to your business. And we are super excited for you to be here today and for the rest of your life.
Thank you. Sorry for the background noise. If you can hear it, I'm at the gym.
That's okay. What's the one thing you're focused on today?
I am focused on more education and systems, working on the systems.
Perfect. And I'll give you that whole sheet when we meet a little bit later today, okay?
Thank you.
All right, I don't think I skipped anyone. Don't forget that the final week for reporting is going to take us through the end of the calendar year. So you got an extra 4 days for that last week in December. And if you are not caught up, if you could add in your contacts, that would be fabulous. And as always, we are here to support you and answer any questions that you may have. And have a great day.
Bye, everybody. Thank you, Bill.
Bye-bye.